I am so excited how this turned out, so I'm super stoked for this video. Today I'm using the Zen Habitats 2x2x2 PVC panel reptile enclosure. I freaking love Zen Habitats. This one can go up to 100% humidity, so from 0 to 100. Because we're doing a live vivarium today, I just scraped up the back and sides of this enclosure so my foam will stick, and I'm picking out some of the items that I'm thinking I might want to stick to the sides. A lot of this stuff I just grabbed out of my yard. These ledges right here that I'm showing you, I actually am going to be doing a video. It'd probably be the next uploaded video on this channel, so turn on notifications and subscribe if you are not, but I'll show you how to make your very own custom ledges. Someone on Instagram was like, these are awesome mushroom, like they thought they were like little mushroom pieces that went in the side of the cage, which I thought was awesome. So I'm starting here with kind of placing things in the planters and stuff where I think I might want them. I will link a lot of things for you guys in the description box, but some of these sticks right here actually came from my place in Nashville, and then I put them in the oven to sanitize them. You can Google that. It's super easy. If I remember, I'll link it for you guys in the description box. But laying out kind of where you want everything is the best way to go, but there's always last minute additions and changes, which is totally doable with the foam because it takes a little while to set. So this foam, I actually realized I wasn't filming this, but you can see I left a few inches at the very bottom because there's no need to put it there because my substrate is going to go there. I am foaming in my little planters and I am leaving the bottom completely unfoamed. I made the mistake of foaming the bottom of my last ones thinking I would drill a hole, but that never ended up working and then my plants died. So you can't tell in this video really, but I have this sitting with its backside down so that I can put things into the foam and have them stand up properly, because if I tried to do this while it was upright, all of this would just slide down. So make sure the area that you're working on is, you know, ground level. I don't know why I can't think of the terminology that I'm trying to use right now, but you know what I mean. You don't want anything sliding off. So you can place all your materials kind of wherever you want them. There's no rhyme, no reason, just whatever that makes you happy and you think will work best for your animal. Here I'm just foaming the other side. So once the foam was completely dry, which takes a few hours, I flipped the cage over and started doing the side of the cage, again, leaving a couple inches for where my substrate's gonna go, and then I'm scratching this up a bit more. If you don't scratch this, it doesn't stick super well. You need to give it something to adhere to. And this foam is actually pretty cheap. I get it at Home Depot, and I buy probably about 8 at a time. So I'll link you guys to that in the description box below. There are also a couple different expanding foams. Some is only up to 1 inch and some is up to 3 inches. So I believe this one is a 3-inch expanding foam. I didn't want you guys to have to tilt your head here, so excuse the fact that this is a vertical video, but I'm basically placing some different things and sticks into the side panel, and then I'm foaming over the very base of that to make sure that it stays exactly where I want it to. I'm adding a few more ledges here. You can add leaves into the side, you can add sticks, you can add dirt, like whatever you feel like putting in there. I'm also putting another planter here, and in hindsight I wish I would have put that a little lower, but you know, you live, you learn. Here's what I ended up with after I foamed the entire 3 sides of this enclosure. Now, with this kind of foam, the silicone you need to add to this now will not stick to it if you do not cut all of the shiny pieces of the foam off. So I tried something a little bit different this time. I used, like I used in my last video, the Drylock Extreme Basement and Masonry Waterproofer. This has a bit of grip in it. So I added the Quick Right cement color to kind of create the exact color that I wanted. I painted this over the entire background. Not only did it color it, so it was a bit easier for me to cover everything without any white pieces peeking through with the silicone, but it filled in all the gaps really, really well. The only area of this that I actually did end up cutting was some of my planter areas because the foam just wasn't shaped the way that I wanted it to be. But this was kind of a test for me because I didn't know if this stuff was gonna stick to the foam. I knew it stuck to styrofoam, but I wasn't sure about actual foam. So luckily for me, it totally worked. And it was much easier for me to paint this on the backdrop than trying to cut off all the shiny pieces of the foam. I used a really small makeup brush for adding this stuff, the dry lock, like around all of the little pieces, just because I wasn't sure how close I was going to get to this with the actual silicone, because I didn't want to cover too much of it. Now, I covered the entire backdrop in the area after my dry lock dried. I covered that entire area with like a dark brown silicone. You can definitely find black silicone, dark brown silicone. So that's what I ended up using. I always use gloves. I just find it easier than trying to use a paintbrush, and I just kind of smush it into all the areas of the foam. This is a bit time consuming, so definitely work in sections because the silicone will dry on you. So I tried to cover as much area as I could before it dried, and then I went ahead and added my organic potting soil on top. I got this from Home Depot. It is much cheaper to buy organic potting soil than to buy actual Exoterra or cocoa husk, but it's up to you what you want to use. It's your enclosure. Once you've added this to all the areas that you've done silicone, I personally like to kind of press it in lightly into the silicone, and I let this dry for, I'd say, about 2 to 3 hours, and then I would flip my cage over and do another side. But again, just like with the foam, I make sure that it's just sitting on top of it and gravity's working with me. Here's what I ended up with after doing all 3 sides. I was so freaking excited with how this turned out. I still am. I absolutely love how it turned out. Next, we're gonna work on the plants and the substrate. So we're gonna use Josh's Frog's false bottom. I had 3 extra bags of this sitting around. So the point of this is so that your enclosure doesn't get moldy and nasty and you don't just have stagnant water sitting on the bottom. It has a chance to aerate and dry out as much as it needs to prevent all that nasty stuff from happening. So I smoothed this out. I put, after the drainage layer went in, I put over my little screens. This is just to separate your substrate from kind of getting into your drainage layer. I didn't have like the perfect size for this, so I kind of just like worked with what I had. For substrate, I ended up using Josh's Frog's ABG mix. This is like a gallon to be exact. Plants do really well in this stuff. It's just got a lot of good stuff in it for plants, as well as springtails, isopods. It's bio-balanced. It's got a lot of ingredients for a balanced ecosystem. So this is awesome if you're doing a vivarium and trying to keep things alive. It's just great. I've been using it now in quite a few of my enclosures. Next, we're adding some plants. This pothos, I was super stoked. We actually propagated this from a much bigger pothos, and it was crushing life just sitting in water. But finally, it needed to find its new home. So look at all the dirt in my hair, dude. Oh my gosh. So I planted these in the little planters in there. This is a frog. I mean, this is a plant from Josh's Frogs right here that's going in the corner. And then I planted another one up top. Unfortunately, the person who house sits for me let it die. So that one is no longer. But this is a bit of leaf litter also from Josh's Frogs. And then I added these little guys, which I love, these little acorn caps. This is also from Josh's Frogs. These just give like a naturalistic element to it, which look great. I grabbed some bendy vines because Anoles absolutely love crawling on these things. They will sleep on them at night right up front and center. So I ended up using actually this like jewelry wire to adhere everything to the top. That's one thing that I love about the Zen Habitats enclosures is it's very, very easy to attach things to the top because they have not really large holes, but like large enough to like attach whatever you need to. And these bendy vines are great because you can attach them to themselves also. Kind of just adding the finishing touches here, some fake plants in as well and some flowers. I'll link you guys to all of this stuff that I get on Amazon and you can check it out there. I'm just adding a couple more wood pieces and just anything that I think will make the enclosure look nicer. I kind of have just like a stockpile of extras from my previous enclosure build, so I was lucky enough to have some cool pieces of wood to add. And at this point, just add whatever you feel like. You can add some vines, you can attach them to the top, you can add some more plants in there if you want, you can build up one of the sides with the substrate. Let your imagination go. Build whatever you want for your animal, and the great part is you can always change it if you hate it. this is what we ended up with. I am so happy with how this turned out. My Anoles absolutely love it. I got so excited to wake up. I woke up the next morning, made my coffee, and just sat in front of their enclosure. They were probably like, look at this freaking weirdo. But they absolutely love this enclosure. The plants are thriving now that I am watering them again. And yeah, I'm just super stoked how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to see more cage builds like this, I am definitely inspired by this one. So give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know that you enjoyed it. It also makes YouTube want to show it to more people. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video. Make sure to check out the description box for all of the items and more added in this video. Also, I have some discount codes for feeder insects from the companies that I purchased from. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next video.